Well, I've put off filming today as long as I could. It is 94.8 degrees outside. That's about 35 Celsius for those of you who use units that make sense. And if I want to get this garden tour out to you guys on time, I'm gonna have to brave the heat. But we will kind of run through the garden quickly. We do have a little bit of shade at the garden this time of day, so hopefully it doesn't end up being too bad. The graveyard down here, it hasn't rained in like, I don't know, it's about 3 weeks now. I haven't had any rain since the last video, and I actually haven't watered these guys. They're only just now starting to really and truly die from lack of water. And I'm gonna let them because I don't have anywhere to put them. They were the ones that were tiny and stunted anyways. Most of this stuff down here has died because it's in smaller containers, and mostly I just need to dump all this and clean it out. I also do want to mention before we get too far into the tour, if you would like to watch these videos without ads, you can do so over on my Patreon. That is linked below. For as little as $1 a month, you can watch all these videos not only without any ads, but also usually 24 hours in advance, as well as have access to videos that I don't post anywhere else, more personal, casual updates, things like that. Those show up from time to time on my Patreon, even for the lowest tier. Now, if you do want to support me even more, you can get some really cool things. There are some custom stickers, which the new sticker for the third quarter is coming out very soon. And you can even join a Discord group where you can chat with me directly about everything going on in your garden. Despite the lack of rain and the fact that I haven't actually watered the garden seriously this whole time, I think things look pretty good. I actually usually don't water my garden unless I have to. I do have a drip irrigation system set up, but I have not used it yet this year. I am wondering if maybe the lack of water is behind why the scarlet runner beans haven't been setting a lot of fruit. A lot of plants struggle to set flowers when it's really hot outside. Despite everything though, this scarlet runner bean is growing really well. And because it's a perennial bean, I'm just happy to have it getting established this year. Looking along this outer row by the sidewalk, I've got some turmeric here that could obviously use some more water. It's surviving, but definitely not thriving as much as it could. It's a tropical plant, so the heat isn't really bothering it. And we do have pretty high humidity here. I think I checked it was 40% earlier. But this could definitely be using a lot more water. This would be used to getting a lot more water in its natural habitat. And then I've got the black turmeric here with this funny little pattern in the leaf. And I was actually chatting with the Discord earlier today, asking if anybody knew what would do that. And Danica had the clever idea that it probably happened when the leaf was all rolled up before it unfurled. And so there was a single hole in it all the way through the layers, and that is why it looks like this. And that kind of makes sense because they're closer together here and farther apart from each other over on this side. The tomato row is starting to look very fluffy. We haven't had too many tomatoes come out of here yet, only like a couple here and there. I think the main crop is just about to start ripening though. So in that regard, I am happy that we haven't had much rain, because tomatoes, when they're ripening under stress, are going to be much sweeter than tomatoes that ripen in like perfectly ideal for the plant conditions. Down here on the ground are the biggest tomatoes that I've seen. They are just now starting to ripen. I might give these only a couple more days just because they are sitting on the ground and I would like for something to not eat them. So I might pick them early and let them ripen inside. But usually I do let things ripen on the vine. Oh, like this little guy right here that got, eaten. That's no good. And this little tag right here, this is just reminding me that this tomato was protected while it was pollinated, so I can safely save seeds from that tomato. The blue cocoa pole beans, that's what they are. Making lots of nice beans for me. I've been picking them. They're kind of starting to come in slow, but I know that they will pick up very quickly. If you look through the tomatoes right in there, look at that. Look at that beautiful bunch of ripe tomatoes. Let me see if I can grab it. 2 of them were fully ripe. The rest of them could use just a little bit more. These I think are the Borghese. These are the ones that are best for sun drying. So I will probably start that process ASAP tomorrow. I also noticed I'm seeing some damage on these tomatoes. I've not seen that type of damage before. I'm not entirely sure what it is. Since this whole branch is marked as having been protected while it was pollinating, I wonder if that has something to do with it, because some of these I didn't take the little bag off until very late and all the tomatoes were like really unhealthily squished together. So that might be part of it. Okay, let's take a look at the second row here. We've got plenty of lettuce that are going to seed. I've got some eggplant here and there. My eggplant always end up chewed up like this. The smaller spots are flea beetles, and I'm not entirely sure what the larger spots are, maybe slugs or something. But these often grow so fast that they outpace whatever munches on them, and in the past I've had really good success just not messing with it at all, not trying to prevent that damage. You can see the peppers are starting to show signs of not having enough water. I probably will have to water them. They are quite parched looking, and it takes a lot to do that to a pepper because they kind of like being dry compared to other things. The zinnias could care less about the drought. They are popping off. Look at these. This one's the most open right now with its cute little candy cane stripes. As we move farther back, we've got even more zinnias, all these pink ones. We've got more eggplants, and then this whole section is hot peppers, which these are actually doing just a little bit better as far as looking like they're handling the drought well. They don't seem quite as curled up as the other ones, but these also have just always been healthier, and I think they get shade just a little sooner in the afternoons. So, oh, look at that eggplant all the way down here. And then the potatoes in this area, not quite ready yet, not dying back, but I probably will be harvesting those soon-ish. If I turn around back to the tomato row for a second, I just had to show you guys, these are the Heinz tomatoes. It's a hybrid variety. It's the one that the company uses, as far as I understand. And they are like the most tomato-looking tomatoes I have ever grown. They are that like classic store-shaped tomato. I wish the grass and weeds were showing literally any sign of being unhappy that there's a drought, but unfortunately they seem happy as little clams. Alright, we're moving on to the third row here. This is where the trellises are, and I was noticing the other day that we've got flowers on the noodle beans, and oh wow, they are already teeny tiny noodle beans. Look at that. Oh, there's a couple out here. Oh, with that ray of light on them. So pretty. You can see the flowers are, this one is closed up, and I bet if I tap it enough that it will come off of this little baby bean right here. Look at that. These ones up here don't look like they've opened yet, but yeah, we are approaching noodle bean season. That's super exciting. This second trellis here is the cucumber trellis, and I have watered specifically the cucumbers one time. I think they definitely need more, because cucumbers, as we all likely know, if you don't know, that's okay, they are pretty heavy water feeders. They need a lot of water, and so these are not growing super fast, likely because it has been so dry. Back past that trellis is the emergency sweet peppers, And if I come around here, I can show you the corn, which I think has grown like another 6 inches since you saw it. It is approximately waist height on me now. This is a native variety of popcorn, so I'm excited for that to finally come up. Okay, I actually cannot get enough of this lighting right here. Look at how the light comes through the leaves, and of course the camera always catching that sun ray. Oh, this dryness has probably been really good for these poppy pods. I wonder if I can pop it open for you. So it's got these little holes in the top where the seeds are supposed to come out. Oh, look, there it goes. There we go. And that's where we get our poppy seeds from. This blueberry bush back here, this is the first time I've seen it look unhappy in a while. It's been nice and green. Apparently it is not liking the dryness. It's getting a little crispy, but I bet it's got a good enough set of roots on it that it'll recover as soon as it gets some water. Alright, and now we're walking back towards the front on this far row. There's not just a whole lot to see. Mostly it's weeds. The cosmos are still flowering. You can see some of the older flowers mixed in with the newer flowers coming up. And as a reminder, I didn't plant any of these. They just volunteered, self-seeded from last year, which is why they are directly in my way as I'm walking around. We've also got the tomatoes over here. These are a couple that I wasn't planning on planting, but I had so many extra, I couldn't just let them all die. So I've got this tomato here. This is a basil. I think, 1, 2, 3, 4 tomatoes in this area. I just noticed over here, these are volunteer brassicas of some kind. You can see if I pull away and you look from a distance just how different of a color of green that is from everything else. Yeah, that's definitely gotta be like a broccoli or something, I would guess. Okay, let's take a look now at the entire raised bed section. I think a lot of the raised beds are showing the drought a little worse than the in-ground section, just because they are like raised up above the ground, and I think that it dries a little faster. You can see the thyme plant is turning a little brown. There's still green bits though, and I mean, I'll just let you know I'm not yet incredibly concerned. I was planning on cutting a bunch of that back anyway, so this is fine. If we come over here, I've got my calendula still making flowers and looking pretty healthy, to be honest, over here. I wish the grass wasn't so healthy, but we'll work on pulling that out. Chives could look better, to be honest. I think they're suffering a little bit from the heat, but you can still see there's nice green ones in here that I can pull from when I want. And we are getting ever closer to carrot seeds. These are looking like they're starting to get really mature now, and there's still a few that are in the process of flowering. Down here, what is this? This is a basil. This is the Greek oregano. Sorry, my brain is getting fried by this heat. Oh, look at all these little bees on it. I actually don't know what kind of bee that is. Let me see if I can get a good video of them. Yeah, all these little bees everywhere. So this Greek oregano is flowered, and below it the lemon thyme is flowering. This one seems to be handling the heat a little bit better than the other time. And I would say that the potatoes, I could start harvesting from here anytime I want. I just haven't yet because I haven't had time. And we'll leave it at that. I think the sweet potatoes look like they're definitely tired of this heat. You can see it's flopping like this. And sometimes plants will do that just in the middle of the day, no matter what. because they're trying very hard to catch less sun because it is hot. And if you'll watch them, even without watering, sometimes in the evening they'll perk back up. But some of this is very floppy. And you can see this turmeric leaf in here. That one I planted. I thought it would come up a little faster than it did, but it looks like it'll still kind of hold its own. And there's another turmeric actually right in here coming up. So we'll see how those compete with all this sweet potato vine in here. Then the final raised bed, this is my Sarpomira potato. These look very dry, like they could definitely use some water. They are not quite as far along as the other potatoes as far as harvestability, but they shouldn't be too far behind. And the blueberries in this area look better than that other one we saw. They're not really showing any signs of those browning leaves, although the fruits are kind of drying up as they're getting ripe, which makes it really hard to get like perfectly ripe berries off of these. So I think some of my fruits are just going to be like half ripe and all dried up, which is unfortunate. We've had some new strawberries coming in over here, but not really that many, and you can see these also are looking just a little sad and flat. They could use some water for sure. Blackberries also, I don't know if you can tell, but like that's not as shiny as you might expect. They are definitely kind of dehydrating on the vine, their own fruits. So these guys could use some water. Oh, you can see really well in here just how flopped everything is. Oh yeah, even over here, these are starting to get crispy, these strawberry leaves. And the raspberries, you can see a lot more of the underside of their leaves than you normally would because of the way they're flopping. Yeah, not super ideal. I should probably water my garden. Watering is a little easier than it used to be. I used to live in that house over there, the green one, before this house was ready for me. They're both owned by the same landlord. And I used to actually have a very long hose from that house all the way over to here. But ever since I moved into this house, I have just had a long hose all the way from the other side of the house where the spigot is. And I have finally gotten like a little hose reel that is actually close to the garden. This one is actually the Vigo one. They sent it to me to try out, and currently I've been liking it a lot. I'm planning on making you guys a video talking about kind of the pros and cons of it overall, but it's retractable, which makes things super easy. And then I also do have the drip irrigation system. You can see right here along my path, maybe not as well as you used to be able to, this black hose right here. This is like the main line, and then coming off of it we have little smaller lines which have gotten buried over time. I should probably unearth these. These are the actual drip lines, and they go up along the different rows and drip irrigate this whole thing. Alright guys, I wish I could hang out with you here longer in the garden and talk more about everything, but I am like literally dying out here. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you'll come back and check on me next week. Hopefully we will have some rain by then. But until next time, happy gardening.